Hello, everybody. Saints man here, small van driver on the CX. The week in the life of, which was November the 7th, week commencing the 7th. And my back's still not right. It weren't right Monday. It's still not right. I've had physio on it yesterday morning. It's Saturday at the moment, Saturday the 12th of just, what is it? 12:15. Um, I decided on Monday that I'd got a job already booked, from Daventry to Warwick and then to Swindon. And I decided that I was going to stay local. I weren't going to tramp because my back's suffering. The van's comfy, don't get me wrong, it's comfy enough, but it's just hard work getting out of the van in the morning, sorting a shower out, finding it, and it's just the back's not up for doing that stuff. So we stayed local. It sort of restricts you a bit actually. I can understand if people are not tramping, it's quite a tricky job, but that's the decision we made, and we still did all right. First job Monday. I had to get up at 6:15. I'd got a pick up in Daventry at 7. Two drops, one to Warwick, one to Swindon. Two small packets, nice and easy, nice steady start. I didn't know what I was picking up. It was two very small packets, didn't weigh a kilo each, so it was fine. Although picking items up with my back is no issue, but it's still fine. I'm looking for a job then. I was in Swindon, um, and got one quite quick actually. I got one, Swindon to Oxford, which was a pretty simple job. I picked that up, no aggro whatsoever. And then I got to Oxford. It was Cowley, round by Cowley. I dropped off and I sat and waited a bit. And I find Oxford quite difficult. I don't know why to get jobs. Sometimes it's okay, sometimes it's not. And it brings in places like Bicester, Abingdon. Eventually, I got a job, and it was Abingdon to North London. It was 85 quid. I'll tell you how much it was. It was really good money. I'm going to say what it was. It was 4 boxes, and it was delivering to near Tottenham Hotspur grounds. So around the inner, inner, what's the road for it? North Circular. But the reason I got really good money for it is because these bloody protesters, don't get me wrong, if you're going to demonstrate or do protesting, do it, but do it where it affects the people that make your decisions. Go to bloody Downing Street, block that up, block up Parliament, block up Westminster. I don't. That's mate. The government might act, but when you are blocking that bloody M25 up, pretty much all of it, and that will does affect. It affects the working man from earning a living. It also affects people who are trying to get somewhere in emergencies. It was reported on the radio. A man couldn't get to his wife who had a very serious accident. He couldn't get through the traffic. It's stuff like that. Winds me up. And what happened? It's the M25 shirt. Everyone goes, they've got to get around London. They go on the North and South Circular. So it was really busy. So it took me a while. It took me a long while. But we got there. Got to North London. Delivered the goods. 4 items. 4 big boxes. Nothing heavy again. So it was nice and simple, and I couldn't get a job out of North London there because the traffic and all the mayhem. I couldn't get anywhere quickly, and I couldn't get to the Midlands where I wanted to go. And I earned really good money, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to drive home because I'd had really good money to the London job. I had good money going down, so I was still going to be all right money wise. So I just literally just poodled home, and I was home for 5:30. Tuesday, I got a job. 8:15, I left the house and I got a job, local job, Northampton. Again, I was looking locals. There was some long distance stuff, but I just thought, no, I'm going to stay local. And I got one to Milton Keynes, minimal charge job really for me, a little bit more actually, good pence per mile. And it was picking up a suitcase to go to a photographer's studio in Milton Keynes. Easy, 20 miles, got well paid for it. And I was looking for a job out of Milton Keynes. And I actually got one out of Bicester, and it was to Brackley. And it was picking up from a garage in Bristol, the car spares, to go to a body shop in Brackley. Again, got pretty good money for it, pence per mile's way up. But I'm only 30 miles from home, so I'm doing really local. And I looked on it, and one of my YouTube mates, Anvil Dave, who's got a Citroen Relay, that morning early, he broke down, and he was at Sherwell Valley Services, and he got a message from the RAC. They were going to be 5 hours minimum picking him up. So that's where he was, and I was only 5 miles from it, 6 miles when I finished Brackley. I looked for jobs quickly, had a quick look around, there was nothing. It was lunchtime, so I thought, you know what, let's go and see Anvil Dave. So I drove down to Sherwell Valley, and there he was sat there. Yep, his water pump or his thermostat's gone. Yeah, still waiting for the RAC. So we had a good meet up, Dave. It was nice to see you. Good crack. And glad to know that you're back on the road-ish with another van, a hire van. I know you had a nightmare from hell. If you look at his channel, because he's always looking for subscribers, it's Anvil Logistics. And there's a video on there about his day of absolute carnage. So that's a free plug you got there, mate. Anyway, I sat with him, and a shipper phoned me. I've got myself available, and a shipper phoned me and says, I've got a job. It's Towcester to Milton Keynes. I can see you're not that far away. Would you do it? It's just 4 boxes going to Milton Keynes, which again, local again. Give me a good rate for it again, so I'll get a good pence per mile. And I said, yep, I can go and pick that up. And I picked up 4 boxes. It was from a farm, actually. It was a business unit in a farm. And I took it to a parcel delivery company in Milton Keynes. Nice and simple. You drive inside, back it, put it on a conveyor belt, 4 big boxes, get your paperwork out the door. And I was done. And I thought, I sat around a bit, but I was the right side of Milton Keynes from my house. I was 20 miles from my house now. And I thought, that's it, I'm just going to knock it on the head. So money-wise for that day was just 3 small jobs. Wasn't brilliant. The mileage, I only did 127 miles in total. Good money, pence per mile was good money. So I was just being steady, but I wasn't earning the big bucks. But that's what it is at the minute. Wednesday, I got a job booked in, and it was pick up 1 box, quite a big box, from an engineering company, and it was going to a residential address in London. North London again. I'm decided to stay north of the water, try and keep out of the bloody yellow boxes, and keeping out of places where vans shouldn't go so I don't get fined. Again, I got really good money going down, not going to lie, and that got me a really good pence per mile, way over what I would have, but it's going to London. And I found it all right. It was, I can't think where it was, it's London. It wasn't that far. It was about 3 miles the other side of Enfield, that sort of area. Going down the M11, I can't remember where, but it was easy. Residential address, bloke was in, dropped it to him. And I'm looking for another job. And I went up, I thought I'll drive up to Enfield way. Enfield's been a good area for me. So I started driving up to Enfield. I'm in stacks of traffic because the Pepsi protesters are out again. No, I best not say what I really think, because, yeah. And a job popped up from Waltham Cross. I've been to this company a couple of times from Waltham Cross. It's not far from where I was, and it was going to London, but it was going to near Hanger Lane. It was around the other side of Wembley. Can't tell you exactly where it was. Oh, it was Chiswick High Road. So I've got to go round Hanger Lane and down a 40 down to Chiswick High Road. And it was spare parts for buses. It was going to a bus station. And they pay good money. It was good money. And it was 2 discs, quite heavy. But again, my back ain't a problem picking weights up and moving. The problem is standing, and it's the pain in my back, bottom of my back. So sitting in the van's fine. Sitting here is fine. Doing it, I'm going for a walk in a bit. Gentle walking, just about get away with. Standing still, chatting to someone, I have to find somewhere to sit because it's pains in the bottom of my back. Anyway, enough of my bloody illnesses. But that got me to there. And I wanted to get back because we've got a bike night at the cafe we used to run. People had took it over, nice people, Paul and Nikki, and they were still running the bike nights. It was their first one of the winter. So I wanted to get back to support it. And I decided to come back. So I had dead miles from there. It's 70 miles dead. It's not brilliant, but you live with it. And that was it. Went to the bike night. They had a really good turnout for the winter, really. Yeah, there's a good few bikes, good crack, and yeah, they've took over. They've added a bit of interpus. They've added some yeah, I can't figure the word I was trying to say, into it, and they're younger and they're putting their effort in, and hopefully they get rewards. We're happy we're out of it. My wife's so happy she's not having to do 60, 70 hours working her nuts off, and she ain't got any nuts. Working her arse off is what I meant to say. So, it was Wednesday done. Thursday, I'd got a job already booked in. Wednesday. In fact, it was booked in, yeah. Yeah, it was Wednesday morning even. And it was to Chippenham. It was going to an airfield, which they've turned into. There's a big company there, one that does the Hoovers. There you go. There's my only thing. And I was taking something from Northampton to Chippenham, and it was just one. It literally picked up from 2 miles from my house, and it was one. It was a Hoover, but a new development Hoover. They doing something with making new models or something like that. Took that down to Chippenham, and Chippenham's the furthest I've been all week. That's how local I was staying. And did that. I picked it up at 7:30 in the morning and dropped that off. And Thursday was a good day. I got a job then from Calne, Calne, which is about 10 miles away. And it was to Tamworth. I actually got the job before I finished the first job. Because again, I see the job on the CX and I phoned and I says, I'm interested in doing that. I'm going to be about half an hour. And they said, that's absolutely fine. I knew who the shipper was. And she booked the really good money on it for me. I says, look, what sort of money are we looking at? And it was absolutely fine. That was to Tamworth. So I was going up with 2 boxes. That's all it was, to Tamworth. And dropped the 2 boxes off at engineering place. They weren't heavy, even though it was going to engineering. And I decided the best thing to do, I'm going home. I'm not staying out, not tramping. And it was still early afternoon, quite early. But I thought, what I'd do, I'll get on the A5 towards home. I'll probably stop Nuneaton around there, have a sit, have a go and have a walk, pool around. There's more chance of Hinckley, Nuneaton, Coventry getting a small job somewhere near Northampton or even the Milton Keynes, Luton at a push, to chuck my money up because I've got 2 really good paid jobs already in the bank. And because what happens, you leave Tamworth, nothing was coming out of there. Birmingham, it was all going the other way. Drove down, I drove about 10 miles, and a job popped up from Tamworth. I shouldn't move. That's what I shouldn't do. I should stay where I am. But nothing was happening in Tamworth, and jobs were coming out in Nuneaton and Hinckley and Coventry. But I've moved 10 miles. So I pulled over quickly, and it was going to Northampton. It's going to 5 miles from my house. So I put a quote in. I forget the 10 miles. I didn't charge the 10 miles. I thought, let's just put the quote in on the job. Put a good quote in, and followed up with a phone call and got the job. It was a Northampton courier, one of the couriers who works out of Northampton. Explained, and they were really happy to give me it, and I was happy to accept it because it made a really good day. So off we went back to Tamworth, picked the job up, took it to Northampton, 5 miles from my house. It's in a village. It's a big car company. Their headquarters, anyone knows it, north of Northampton, but yeah, it's one of the top car companies. And it was literally 1 box. No, it was 2 small boxes. Dropped that off, and I was home. I was home at 5:30. So that was a longer day for me. That was like a 10-hour day, which is fine. Got good money, really good money, over target. So Monday I was over target, and Thursday I was over target. Just Tuesday and Wednesday, 2 small days. And Friday, I couldn't. Before I got done Thursday, I parked where I dropped off at the end, put the feed on for Friday. I got a massage booked at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's half an hour. Back massage and to check what's going on. So I couldn't really do anything. I knew I'd be all right afterwards. So I looked at jobs. There was a couple of jobs early I couldn't do. And there was one job going from Northampton to Birmingham, and it was booze. But it was only 67 kilos. That's all it was. And it's pick up 9:30. And I thought, that's ideal. And I don't mind being in Birmingham. Again, local. So I quoted on it, and booze, I'm quoting high. I'm quoting quite high. Very high, actually. Because I think you're going to do a lot of lifting. So, quoted high, got the job. So Friday was good. So I finished Thursday, got home. Friday, went and had the massage. My my physio is sick, so I had a young girl do it. Wow. I mean, I've got a strapping bloke who's done it, and I'm under him, under his physio. But this was a young girl, about 23, and yeah, she was stunning. Didn't do me back any good, by the way, but it was stunning. I had a massage, and she told me some new exercises, different ones to perhaps try. But my back's still the same, and it's going to be a while. I know it is because it was last year. And the best thing is drugs, really, and it just gradually heals itself. Is that right? Hey. Anyway, got a job, Northampton or Birmingham. Went to the brewery at Northampton. Got there at 9:20, and sure enough, they don't let you in until it's your time slot, which was 9:30 to 10:30. They let me in, but you can't go on a bay. You have to sit, and it was smack on 9:30. They come out and put me on a bay when a big lorry Arctic had come off, and it was one keg, 67 kilo keg or 64 kilo keg, and they just drop it on a big mat, two big mats off the loading bay, off the ramps, straight on the back, and it's level with your van, straight in and up. And it was going to a company, it weren't even going to a pub. So one keg I've got. It's going to a company in Solihull. Oh, yeah, Solihull. Near Shirley. And yeah, took that there, easy peasy. And yeah, it was a company. They actually got a pub inside the company. They got a lounge pub area. They turned into a pub for the employees. Big company. And there was something to do with the drinks industry, but they got their actually got their own pub inside, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, rolled that in. Didn't have to carry it or anything like that. Put it on the sat boat, just flipped it over, rolled it all the way in. And yeah, that was easy. And there was a lot of jobs Friday around Birmingham. A lot of jobs. Again, I want to stay in that catchment, Birmingham, Coventry, perhaps to Leicester, but Inkley. I just want to do a couple of jobs. And I picked one up from Birmingham to Coventry. It was to Atherstone. Yeah, Birmingham to Coventry, sorry. It was Birmingham to Coventry. Let's get this right. It was Coventry to Atherstone. I'd come out of Birmingham. I was Coventry side. And it was picking up Coventry, going to Atherstone, 12 miles. I quoted big money for the 12 miles because it's a minimum charge. I've got to travel about 10 miles to get to it. And when I got to the company, they give me it. They give me the job, but there was loads of jobs going. So I thought I'll quote high because they're going to be short of drivers around here because everyone's working. And when I got to the company where I was collecting from, it was 3 boxes, apparently. I introduced myself, who I was, what company, and I says I'm collecting 3 boxes, and the people I was collecting from, they'd buggered it up. They hadn't swapped him over. I was meant to be collecting from where I was in Atherstone, bringing it back to them, but they'd put it through to the shipper, collect from them. He got it the wrong way around. He knew straight away. He went, "Oh shit," he said, "I'm putting it the wrong way around. You're meant to be bringing them here. You're meant to be going to Atherstone to bring them to me." He said, "That's my fault." And he says, "Can I phone your office?" I said, "Yeah." I says, "I'll phone as well, just so both of us are on the same page." He phoned, and I'd already phoned, and I was speaking to a lady, and he got through to a bloke. And I says, "Yeah, I can go and do it." I says, "But obviously it's an expense." And to be fair to the shipper, they put 25 quid on it. It was only 10 miles, 11 miles. And I went straight over to pick it up, but I had to be there because they packed up Friday at 12:30. I got there at 20 past. So picked it up, no problem. It was 2 suitcases, 2 boxes, and 2 trolleys, which all fit in the back of the van. And I took it back to the original company where I'd already been, thinking I was collecting. So I got very well paid for that, pence per mile, and I got good, gross money on it really, because I'd only done Coventry to Atherstone, and I'm back in Coventry, which is ideal to get you home. You're looking. I'm only 35 miles from home, so I'm looking. I can sit, and if I don't get nothing, I'll just trundle home. But I did. I had to go to Wednesbury, which was about 18, 20 miles from where I was, and it was going to Northampton. 3 miles from my house, this job was, and I thought, you know what, I want this job. And I did quote. I quoted all in 65p a mile. I think it was 65, maybe 64. That was all in, including me 20 odd mile getting there and getting me home, because it got me home. No dead miles once I finished. 3 miles. So it got me home, and that was a Friday. And if I hadn't got that job and I hadn't picked nothing up, I was driving home anyway. So I phoned the company, Northampton company, and I says a job about Wednesbury to Northampton, and it was one box. It was out of it's like a distribution centre. It was not a pallet collection place, but it was something that they store stuff for people and they send it out when it's due. And it was just one box. So we did that job. That was a good job as well. Good pay. And in fact, Friday was a very good pence per mile overall. Every mile, including wherever I went, including the dead miles to Wednesbury, because I hadn't really counted that. And that finished my week. It finished my week really well, actually, because Friday, I didn't actually start until 8:45. Once I come out the chiropractor, once I had my back sorted, I come out at 8:45. I started work at 9:15, left there, and I finished at 4 o'clock. But after I dropped off in Northampton, I went and got the van. I cleaned the van. I went to a Morrison's and used. I hate going in car wash, but I went and did the soapy lance and sprayed it all. And it amazingly, it's a silver van. I mean, after the week, it was like dirty, grey, horrible, and it's a silver van. So I'll give it a really good clean, and it looks mint now. And I got home. I was home by 4, so it was a nice early finish. So that was my week. Uh, Also on Friday, I checked the feed for Monday, which I think everyone should do that. You should always check the feed from about 2 o'clock onwards and keep the feed on if you can. Keep it in the background or keep where you can get it quick because jobs pop up for Monday. People like to get them booked in. And I've booked a job in. I got a job about, I think actually I was almost home when he phoned through with the job and it's from Corby to Brighton Monday, picking up 8:30. And again, that's a nice job. That's okay. I've worked for this company quite a lot. And he pays well as well. It's good pay. So the M25 is not bugging up with these protesters because that'll put a spanner in it, but we'll see. So the weekends, I did 1146 mile, which if you think normally, I'll look back in my book. The week before, 1800 mile. The week before that, 1800. 1500 the week before that. 1270 the week before that. A week I was on holiday, yeah, 1500. So I did probably about 400 miles less than what I'd normally do in a week. Easy. But that was it. 46 hours, total hours worked, including breaks, everything. From leaving my house to getting home, 46 hours over 5 days, 9-hour days. And I had 30 hours driving, which again is down on what I normally do. I'm normally up to 35 to 40. So that's what it is. Money was before that 841, and that worked out every mile's 74 pence, every single mile. And that's about what the par is for a small van, I think. This is me, I think. All miles. Yeah, you can quote 85 to a pound a job. I was quoting nearly £2 some jobs. You're going to get dead miles. But dead miles in a small van like my Citroen Berlingo, it's not so, it doesn't hurt you as much because I get 55. I'm averaging 56.8 over the last 15,000 miles because I've got a second trip trip B on my thing. I leave it and I'm up to 15,000. Last 15,000 miles, I'm averaging 56.8. So you can afford to lose a few dead miles. With that, puts it just over 1,009 with the 20% VAT. Obviously, I'll give 9% back to the government, which is £90.83, which makes a total of £919. And that was without any nights out, without doing masses of hours. Still took £919 with me 9%, with me 11% VAT. I'll come on to fuel cards. I haven't spoke about fuel cards for a long while. Simple reason is I haven't used them because they're just up too far up there until last week. And UK Fuels on my fast fuel card, my Texaco one, they brought the price down just above what supermarkets were charging. But I still use supermarket fuel because there's a couple near me, and it's just easy to use my card than it is a fuel card. But it's about tuppence in it, just under tuppence. Next week, my UK fuel cards is 145, which puts it at 174, which that's cheaper than pretty much any fuel. The cheapest fuel I was getting last week was 179 at Morrison's. And at Tesco, there was a Tesco in Brackley. I got 179, but that was early in the week. So that's my fuel card. My other fuel card, my BP UK Fuels, is at 185, which is 11p dearer. So I've just got either a special offer or they've buggered it up and given me the wrong price. But I'll be using the 140, 170, 175. I should be getting fuel. 174, sorry. That's what I should be buying my fuel at next week. So all in all, yeah, it isn't a 200. I aim for 200 a day, 1,000 a week. I was £159 under that. It's like 30 quid a day. Yep, £32 a day. But I was having a lot easier work. I wasn't pushing myself. I wasn't doing a long day. One long day, and that brings you up to 1,000. But it got what it was. So I've got as earliest, well, Upper State start Monday. See what Monday brings. I'm going out for a walk now. See if we can a bit of exercise, and then we'll go to England try and beat Japan because they couldn't beat Argentina last week. Hope you're all doing well. I say Anvil Dave, if you want to check his channel out. Another one I'm going to plug is James at Freddie Fletcher. He's desperate. He's desperate to catch us all up. I'm over 500, and they're getting close to 500. Neil at Neptunes, I think he's getting close to me. He's got a channel. I see John at Tall Man Small Van. He's got another van. So he's gone back to being a small van driver. I think he picked it up Friday. It looks really good, John. So good stuff there. Andy P's back. He's off his holidays. Trying to think who I've missed out. TC, I haven't got any videos from TC services. I haven't seen one from him for a while. But yeah, I think it's going all right. So, hope you have the best of the weekend. Hopefully back on it Monday. We'll speak next week.